All right, folks, welcome back to Tablebuzz. Today we have a very special guest, probably one of the most interesting guests we can get. We have an Olympian, bronze medalist too, so just adds to it.
In one of the most unique Olympic sports we could possibly find.
100%, yeah.
A Canadian ski jumper is joining us on Tablebuzz today. Abi Strate, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks, guys. How are you?
Unreal.
Yeah, I can't complain. So what are you up to now after Beijing?
We actually pretty quickly got back to competing. So I competed this weekend in a World Cup in Austria, and I'm headed to Norway tomorrow for some more competitions. So right back to that grind, honestly. I went home for 2 days and it was like the craziest 2 days I've ever had, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure you had lots to do in the 2 days, lots of people to see at least.
Did you bring your medal home, or was there like a party, or did they have something planned when you got back?
I did bring it home. There was like quite a celebration at the airport. I got handed some champagne, so that was pretty sick. Yeah, I had one day where I had all my family and friends over that I wanted to see, and then another day that was all media, like just interview after interview after interview, and then right back to Slovenia. I brought my medal back to Slovenia with me. I'm not gonna leave this thing in Canada for another 3 months, so she's with me. She's always with me. Kind of hidden because I'm like, I don't know who in Slovenia might want to steal a medal, but it seems pretty valuable.
You never know. So you have competitions coming up in Norway. Is this still like, how does your season work, I guess, is a better question.
Yeah, so we've got like this tour called the Raw Air Tour that we go to in Norway, and they're all World Cup competitions. They're actually the same, if not higher level competitions than the Olympics, because it's all the same athletes. It's the best in the world, but there's actually more girls because only 40 can qualify for the Olympics. And there's usually about 50 to 80 girls at regular season World Cups. So we compete basically every weekend. I think we've got about a quarter of our season left now, but we've started competing at the end of November and then basically all the way through until the end of March.
Yeah. How's it going so far? You racking up the points, or what's going on?
Yeah, I actually had the best weekend I've ever had. So I think the Olympic medal gave me some good jetbacks. I got 2 top 10s this weekend. So that was really good for me. And hopefully I can get on the podium here before the end of the season, but I know it'll happen someday. So maybe I'll just have to wait.
Wicked, yeah.
Yeah, that's unreal. I can't imagine like going on those jumps. They look so big on TV. I get scared looking at them almost.
How do you get over like the fear? Like what kind of ramps are you starting on? Or obviously I'm assuming there's no fear at this point, but
yeah, no fear now, unless there's like, sometimes if it's really windy out or the conditions are just like super unstable, I still get a little freaked out because you are like launching yourself into the air. But we start on really small jumps. Like I started on I think a 10 or an 18-meter hill. Like that's the length of the hill, which is decently big for like a 6-year-old. But I started like on alpine skis. So I was already skiing when I was really young. So I was pretty comfortable with that. And then you just kind of progress up. Like usually the progression, you go from a 20-meter hill to a 30-meter hill to a 60-meter hill then you're on the Olympic size hills at that point. And that's kind of like those first jumps, every time you kind of went up a hill size, those ones were scary. And I remember like my first jumps on, I think, a 60-meter hill, when you're going down a roller coaster and your stomach drops.
Yeah,
I got that the first few times I would go off the bigger jumps, but now it's like not even roller coasters. I don't feel that anymore. Roller coasters are lame.
Yeah, that's jump change now, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How did you like start? Like you started when you were 6 years old?
Yeah, I went to a summer camp and we tried a bunch of different sports. Like I don't know what we did. We biked, we hiked, we did like, I think bungee jumping or something, like on a trampoline. Anyways, one day we tried ski jumping, and same thing. It was just on alpine skis off a really small hill. And someone came up to my mom after and was like, she can go to the Olympics in this sport. And my mom was like, ha ha ha, yeah, okay, sure. This 6-year-old can go to the Olympics. And then they handed her a free camp, a free 2-week ski jumping camp. My mom was like, yeah, sure, she can try it. And I just never left. I made such good friends. And yeah, that honestly, like the ski jumps were always like my second home when I was a kid. I'd rather be there than at school. So it was exciting for me.
So how much time were you able to like allocate away from being at school and practicing ski jumping, knowing you were like gonna have a good shot at it?
Well, when I was like really young, it didn't really affect it because I would just go after. It was like any other kind of out of school sport. I would just go after school. But I think it was when I was about 14 that I started to get more serious and I kind of ditched most of the other sports. And that's also when I started competing internationally. So I like would go to Europe for a few weeks at a time and have to like talk to my teachers. But I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I was always pretty good at staying on top of stuff in school. So I would just be like, yeah, give me all the stuff straight up and I'll do it on my own. And the teachers that I had in high school, especially, were so helpful. Like I also made a run up to the 2018 games. I was only 16. I didn't end up qualifying, but that was also a lot of time away from school in high school. And I was just, yeah, the teachers were great. They were really accommodating. So that's how I did that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you lived like a normal high school life.
Yeah.
But like, it sounds like I'd take your life.
Yeah, no, not
Rather be in Europe.
I had a yeah, I had a knee injury in 2019, like really early 2019, and I ended up having to take a year off and just like rehab it and stuff. But that was my graduating year, so I kind of had more of a normal high school experience. And honestly, like I was like, this kind of sucks. I was like, this is fun, but also I think I was just born to be an athlete. So I got pretty sick of it and I was just excited to get back into the sport.
Yeah, the novelty wore off pretty quick, hey?
Yeah. I was like, woo, like parties, let's go. And then I was like, where's the ski jumps? But it was fun. And I mean, I got to spend time with my friends. So
And you tore your ACL?
yeah, I tore my ACL, meniscus, LCL. And then I had surgery like 8 days after I tore it. And yeah, that was like a crazy year. Getting back into sport, so hard, but it was a grind. It was good though.
Like entire knee pretty much then?
Yeah, just fully exploded. I was
You wiped out any times, like any scary ones, or?
I think I've had 2 scary crashes, knock on wood, but I had one in Calgary when I was young and we had been jumping on like a really big hill in Whistler with a lot of pressure. And I kind of went off a smaller hill, our 60-meter hill in Calgary, way too aggressively. And it was also nighttime. I had like really dark goggles on and I just went straight onto my head and got completely knocked out. Like I remember I woke up with like kind of backwards to the hill and my coach was there and he was like, Abby, you just had like a really bad crash. Like there's an ambulance coming. And I was like, what? I thought it was a dream. Like it felt like a dream until I looked over and there was a pile of blood beside me because I macked my face up pretty badly. But that was the one bad one. And then again in 2019, I crashed while training in Utah and just fully like nobody saw my crash. Nobody was watching. My coach couldn't see me because I just hit the bottom and started cartwheeling at like 90 kilometers an hour. Everything got mangled up. My equipment didn't come off properly. So that's why I ended up tearing my knee. But yeah, those are the only 2 bad ones so far. I don't want to crash again. It's not fun.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
So obviously it's like a pretty intimidating sport. I can imagine there's like a lot of mental game to it. Is there any like type of routine you go through before the jump just to like calm the nerves?
Yeah, I mean, I like admittedly I've always had a really, really hard time with the mental side of ski jumping. Like for as long as I can remember, I would come into competition and just jump completely different than I would in training. Like I would just black out and I was just so nervous. And that was a super big hurdle for me that I didn't end up figuring out until this summer. Like I put a lot of work into, I talked to a lot of like performance coaches and figured out a lot of strategies that worked for me. I guess I kind of have a routine now, but honestly, I guess I just learned to like chill out. Like at the end of the day, if I get a bad result, it's not the end of like, it's not the end of the world. It's a super niche sport and it's super cool, but also there's way bigger things in this world that are going on, and me not having a good weekend is not going to end me. So, but one of the things that works a lot for me is I journal. Like any thought that comes into my head, I'm just like write it down, get it out. And that helps me with sport also. Like I do a lot of writing, just what I felt and what's going on and what I'm thinking. And I mean, putting it on paper for me is really helpful. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you look back in your journal too and like different times and just see what you were doing just to refresh and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I mean, ski jumping, like no matter how good you get, it's so up and down. And I feel like when I'm at a high right now and I hope it keeps going, but when I'm at those like low points, that's when I kind of would look back and read like what was going through my head when I was doing good and like what kind of mindset I was in. So it's fun to reflect on that. And also just like looking back on it, sometimes it's funny too. Like I'm pretty liberal. Like when I'm writing in my journal, I think exactly what comes through my head and I just put it onto paper. So sometimes it doesn't really make sense, but it's entertaining at least.
Jeepers, nice long pause there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a little earlier over here. We've been on European time for the last 2 weeks. We just interviewed a guy who's playing pro hockey in Germany. That was last week. So we're just trying to get through the time zones. We feel like we're jet lagged, but we haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, understandable. I get it. It's like most of my phone calls or interviews end up happening at night, my time, and I'm always like, I forget that it's so early for the other people. Like I've had a whole day. I'm chilling. I've had like 7 coffees at this point, so I'm fully woke. But I get it.
Yeah, we're a little bit of the opposite. That's all right. We don't mind at all.
Yeah, it's a nice balance.
We know you have
exactly.
some type of connection with bumblebees. Do you want to go into what's going on there?
Yeah, bees in general. I mean, I actually have beehives at home. I live in Calgary, and my dad and I like have bees, and we make honey, and it's not like we only have 2 hives, so it's a pretty small thing. It's mostly just for us and friends and stuff. But I just first off think bees are so cool. And I also fly. My name is Abby. I kind of just like piece it together. Like as an athlete, a really big part of branding yourself is, having a brand, having something to connect with. So that just kind of became a thing. And now people just kind of latched onto it. And my suit maker, the guy that makes my competition suits, he puts like a bee patch on them. So, and I have a bee on my skis as well. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of became a thing and I love it. I mean, I love bees. I think they're super cool. They fly, I fly. So that's the connection there.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can probably do more customizable stuff in your sport. I never really thought of that, like putting stuff in your skis.
Yeah. Do you get to design like your uniform or anything, or can you have like a say in what goes on it, or?
There's rules for sure, like especially for sponsors and stuff. There's only specific spots you can put them on. Lots of people in ski jumping, the biggest thing that you can customize is your helmet. Like lots of people have fully painted, customized helmets, or like if they've got, a sponsor, the helmet is fully for the sponsor. And we can't really do much with our skis. Like I think I'm actually the only one on the World Cup circuit that has something like that on my ski. That's not a sponsor. It's just like literally a little sticker, but the TV always loves it. Like they always zoom in on it and they think it's cool. So, and I haven't gotten in trouble yet. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Doing its job.
Yeah.
My question earlier, I remember it was, so like what separates like the good jumps from the bad jumps, or like the best jumpers from the worst? Like, I don't know much about like the sport or like the technique and stuff. Obviously you're flying through the air for a pretty long time, but like what just goes into like putting a good run together?
Well, obviously the biggest thing in ski jumping is the distance. Like you want to fly far. That's the whole goal of the sport, is to jump as far as you can. But there's so many things that go into making that happen. The biggest one, I think, when you get to the Olympic sized hills is how much speed you're able to maintain off the takeoff. So if you think of it, if you're coming off the takeoff and you're coming straight up like this, you're going to get all that air and you're just going to land. But if you maintain like a low chest and I don't really know how to explain it. It's hard for me to talk ski jumping without using ski jumping terms.
Yeah.
Wait, did I lose you guys?
No.
Like my Wi-Fi cut out. Come back.
You're back?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're up
you're
for
good
us.
over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on our end, honestly.
it's good on your end, or
You can see.
Yeah,
we're
is it good on your end though?
it's good now. I don't know what just happened. You guys are frozen and I got like a big message, but I guess I don't know if you heard all that, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
got her eye.
okay. Yeah, the biggest thing is like maintaining your speed and gaining speed. That's how you end up going far. But other things like timing are a big thing. If you're early or late off the takeoff, that's gonna like cost you lots of meters. What else? Wind conditions also really have an effect on your jump. Like we get points deducted or added depending on how much wind we have, but it, in my opinion, it never quite makes up for the fact, like if you have bad wind, you're just kind of screwed. Like no amount of points added is going to make up for that because you just lose so many meters. But there's that. Then there's also judges points. So there's 5 people that actually look at your jump and determine a score. It's between, like, the highest score you can get from a single judge is 20, but points usually range between 15 and 19 on a really, really good jump. And then they end up like cutting out the top judge and the bottom judge. And there's a whole process to it, but style, distance, wind, gait. Yeah, it's a very, very technical and sensitive sport because I don't know if you guys watched it at all, but most of the top jumpers are all within a few meters. Like it gets really, really down to the decimal points.
Yeah, the judges would play. So the judges play like a big part in that, or is it more just distance is the main focus?
Distance is definitely the main one. But you can end up like basically you can end up going from 1st to 10th depending on your judges' scores. The biggest thing the judges look at is the landing. So you have to land with one foot in front of the other, arms out in a telemark position, and you can lose probably 2 points per judge times 3. You can lose 6 points, which is usually the difference between 1st and 10th, especially in the men's World Cup because they're super, super tight with points.
So yeah, that's actually quite a bit of points. And
Yeah.
Were there any or do you
no, you can go.
were there any like ski jumpers that were like your favorite growing up, or like that you idolized or wanted to like model your jumping after them, I guess?
Mm-hmm. It kind of evolved a bit once I learned more what to look for and like what my style of jumping was, but I always looked up to the Canadian jumpers. So Mackenzie Boyd Klaus, he was on our medaling team. He's our like 4-time Olympian. He's got a lot more experience than us Olympic newbies, but I always looked up to him, and I still do now because coming from kind of an underdog nation, but seeing that he was able to do it and he's able to get good results, that motivated me and inspired me to keep going because I'm like, oh, Mackenzie can do it, I can do it as well. Another ski jumper that she used to coach me, and then I was on her team for a few years. She went to the 2014 Sochi Olympics. Her name is Etsuko Tanaka. She was just like, yeah. She always motivated me and inspired me, and she was really, really nice to me all the time. When some of the older athletes weren't, she was always just treated me like a friend, and now she is one of my best friends. So yeah, she's up there.
Yeah, like it, yeah.
Yeah, what I was gonna ask is, I know it's different for like every sport in Olympics, but the qualifying for Olympics for ski jumping, it has to be like half nuts, just the way the other sports are. Like, how does that go?
Yeah, so ski jumping has a really long qualifying period. So the qualifying actually started the summer of 2020. So, but that whole season was cut off because of COVID. There only ended up being one competition, which we didn't actually go to. But yeah, so that summer, that winter, and then this summer and this winter, right up until like the second week in January, those were all qualifying competitions. And you get World Cup points if you're in the top 30, and any of those points contributed to the Olympic like ranking list. And I think by the end of it, you needed about 50-ish World Cup points, or maybe 40. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, the points total up from that whole period. And yeah, but we Canadians, so my teammate Ali and I, we ended up getting our spots really late in the qualifying period. Actually, like last winter, I was the only one on our team to score World Cup points, and I scored 1 World Cup point in the last event of the season. I got 30th, and that was like a huge deal. That was awesome. But this spring we got a whole new coaching staff and we all moved to Slovenia. And from then, that's when we started like getting good results and getting more points. And it's kind of just snowballed from there. But we were considered late in qualifying our spots since it's such a long period.
Yeah, I seen that you didn't even like, did you not know that you were actually going until like January 21st or something like that? I think the date was like.
Yeah, well, the official cutoff for the World Cups, like the last one that counted towards qualifying, was I think it was January, like the first week of January. But I kind of knew that my spot was pretty solid like by December, but I wasn't 100% sure, until that competition. And then we had to wait until the actual announcement date, which, like you said, I think that was like January 20 something. So yeah, so I knew at that point. My parents knew, some of my really close friends knew, but my parents were like, when can we say it? When can we say it? And I'm like, no, we have to wait until like they officially announce it on Team Canada. So that was a tough while for me. I was really, really excited for that day.
That's awesome, man. So you said your whole team just like is your home base in Slovenia now? And so
yeah.
Is that because like is the sport just more popular over there? Are the conditions better?
Well, we don't actually have any ski jumps in Canada that are operational. Most people don't know that, but yeah, we don't have any facilities at all. They closed Calgary after the 2018 Olympics, so we can't train there. And Whistler, the jumps in Whistler, first of all, they're not summer jumps. They're only used in the winter. If there's a competition, they'll open them up for like a few weeks, but not for us to train on. So we had to move to Europe to even train on ski jumps. But the good thing is, I mean, that was something that I was probably going to end up doing anyways. And my teammates also, just because all the competitions, all the World Cups are in Europe, and it doesn't make sense to fly back and forth every time. So we had to be based here to have any shot on the World Cup at all. But it's unfortunate that we lost our hills in Canada, because what we really lost was our like small hills that our little kids train on. So now there's basically no young ski jumpers after us. There's a few, but they can't really train because we don't have solid hills. So hopefully that is something that I hope will come out of us winning this medal, and out of us starting to get good results, is hopefully Canada will pitch in and make us some small ski jumps for little kids to train on. That'd be ideal.
Go Canada.
No better way to shine light than to just get up there on the podium, for sure.
Yeah. I'm like, look at us now.
Yeah. So are you like, how many different countries are you going to on this World Cup circuit? Or like, is it the same every year? Like each spot hosts their own like weekend of jumps, or is that how it works?
Yeah, the circuit is usually pretty consistent. There's like a few changes each year. Like maybe they'll hold it on a different German hill than they did the year before. They'll add a few competitions, but usually we end up going to Germany for sure, Austria, Slovenia. We end up in Norway a few times, Russia a few times, except we're supposed to have a finale in Russia, and that got canceled for obvious reasons. We usually go to Japan also, which is like the best tour on the circuit, because it's so different than all those European countries that we go to, and everyone always just has fun and ends up like the food there is so cool and so good. A few times I've also been to, where have I been? Like Sweden, Finland, Korea, China, obviously, Switzerland, France, Czech Republic, like all these places there. And the summer circuit also is pretty consistent. Yeah, I'm well traveled in the Central European area.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah.
Do you ever like in the off season just go to like a place that you haven't been yet, or one of the places that you remember having a good time there during the season, just for like a vacation, or do you spend a lot of time home whenever you're off?
Yeah, so I've started taking advantage of my nice little location here in Slovenia. And especially in the summer, the competitions are a lot more spread out. So I did a few trips. Like we went as a team to Croatia for basically a training vacation where we trained, but we vacationed. And that was really cool. I went to Italy with my mom. She flew out here. At the end of my 2019 season, I went to Greece for a few weeks. That was really cool. After this season, I'm going to the Canary Islands. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, I'll make it home eventually. My parents want to see me.
Yeah.
Where is home? Is home like Alberta, Calgary?
Yeah. Yeah. That's where my parents live. So
follow hockey any?
You're in a tricky spot there.
Yeah. Wait, was it you? I've gotten a few interview requests, but was it you guys that called me out for being an Oilers fan? Even though I don't really follow hockey, but my dad does. I can't remember if that was you guys or if that was someone else. I was like, this is a touchy subject.
Yeah, Richie would never. Yeah.
That's funny though. I was listening to an interview. I seen that you're an Oilers fan, but I just wanted to see if he'd say it.
Yeah, my dad is, and I just kind of like grew up following that, but I don't really follow hockey that much. So I'm not like a diehard, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Nice one. Call out post.
Yeah, we did the background check.
Yeah.
Do you have are there any, I don't know, like in golf, like all their different tournaments, like some of them are pretty unique for having just like different stuff, but are there any of like spots on the circuit that you're like, you see on the calendar and they're circled, like you're excited to go?
Yeah. Japan, like I said, that one's just so cool and so unique compared to everything else. I think everyone is always really excited for we call it Japanuary because they're in the first few weeks of Japan or of Japan. January.
Yeah.
That one's really cool. I really like Norway as well. I think that's a really cool place to travel. And like I'm really excited for the tour we've got coming up. I've never done this one before. It's the Raw Air Tour. We jump on really big hills. So that'll be really fun. What else? Yeah, those are the big ones. Whenever there's like a world championships, that's pretty cool also. Like next year, the world championships, they offset the Olympic years, the world championships. So they happen every 2 years. And next year they're in Slovenia in a place called Planica, which is where we train. It's like our home hill. So we're all really excited for that one.
Wicked, yeah, that's it. Pretty well home base.
Yeah.
Home
Yeah.
court.
I know, we basically just walk out our door and we're at world championships. So home hill advantage.
Yeah, big time.
Really. Do they speak English over there, or like are you still able to like speak English? Obviously, I guess with your teammates, but
Or have you
Yeah.
picked up any other
Yeah.
languages?
They speak English here really well, actually. It's a really small country, so most of the people grow up watching English TV just because they don't dub movies and stuff in Slovenian. I speak French. I went to French immersion school in Canada, but we don't go to France that often. But I talk to like the French competitors sometimes. I don't speak Slovenian. I get that question quite a bit. I know like a few words. Jajka means eggs, and for some reason we say that a lot on our team. Like it's just kind of a running joke. But yeah, I don't speak Slovenian. I know I know how to say like hello in a lot of languages, but that's nothing big.
Yeah.
Very minimal.
It's just the basics.
Yeah, whenever you get to awkwardly walk by a competitor or something.
Yeah. Hi. Bye.
Are you guys all like in the same room in between jumps, or like does it ever get weird?
We all have our own, like each nation has their own changing room usually. Like you have your own personal space, but there's a huge like camaraderie. Camaraderie, is that the word? Everybody's friends. Like it's like a big family. Like I'm honestly like, it's not like super competitive. Like I see someone and I'm like, oh, I hate you because I compete against you. Most of the girls on the World Cup circuit are my friends, and like we joke around with each other. So it makes it really fun. Like every time at the end of a season, I'm always really sad because I just have to say goodbye to everyone. But then at the start of a season, I'm just so excited to see everyone again. Like we all come together and it's like a giant reunion. It's really fun. Oh, that's a different angle.
Yeah, sorry, the computer's gonna die. We gotta shift to the backup.
Okay.
Change it on the fly here.
Yeah. No, but we're all friends. Everyone on the circuit.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Spending
Yeah, I won't say names, but there's a few girls that I'm like, it feels pretty sweet when I beat them.
so.
But most of us are friends.
Yeah, you're still athletes at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm still very competitive. Like even with my teammates, I love them so much, but there's a sense of competitiveness. Like everybody wants to be the best. Like you're not going to be an athlete if you're not there to win and to be the best. So I get competitive, but I think I'm nice. I think I stay nice. I try.
Unless it's obviously the team competition. In that case, you don't mind.
Yeah. That was one thing that made our Olympic medal so special, honestly, was the fact that we won it, the four of us together. Like it was so cool because it wasn't only like something that I've dreamed of forever, but I know that like three of my best friends had also dreamed of that their entire lives. And like when you see someone that you're really, really close with just feeling so fulfilled and happy, it just makes you happy as well. So it was like winning an Olympic medal, but magnified 4 times. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah. Was that the first ski jumping medal that Canada has won, like in recent history, or?
It's the first ski jumping medal that Canada has won ever.
Wow.
Ever since the first Olympics. Ski jumping was in the first Olympics. So yeah.
It's always been an Olympic sport?
Yep.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I fear for the guy, the first one who went.
Yeah.
Yeah, the technology's probably changed.
Yeah, no, we should make the ramp bigger.
Hey, actually, you guys should when we hop off this call, you should look up ski flying, because there's a whole other sport that's not it's not an Olympic sport. They only hold like 3 events a year on ski flying hills. And to give you some perspective, the large hill in the Olympics that the women aren't allowed to jump for some reason, only the guys are allowed to do that one. Ski flying hills, so that's a 120-meter hill, and ski flying hills are twice that size. They're like 240 meters. Like the world record is 253.5 meters. And our Olympic jumps, my farthest jump in the Olympics was 93 or something like that. So 253.5 world record. You guys should watch it. It's insane. Like
it's like same sport, just way bigger ramp.
Yeah. And there's only like, I think there's 8 ski flying hills in the world, and they only prepare them like for like a week out of the year. Nobody ever trains on a ski flying hill. You just kind of show up and jump in it and compete. So
wow,
that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's insane. It's super cool. I hope that they let us do it at some point. They don't let women do it. There's only been like a few girls that have done it like years ago, but we're fighting for that right now. So hopefully we get it in a few years. It looks fun.
Yeah, you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Good.
I'm all right on the ground.
I assume that Beijing 2022 was on your bucket list. What's next on the bucket list?
Yeah, Beijing was a big one. Obviously, I've had that Olympic dream for a long time. So I've heard that like there's a bit of a post-Olympic, like, oh, what do I do now? Like I did the thing, what do I do now? But I definitely have bigger goals in this sport. Like winning an Olympic medal was my big goal. That was my biggest goal ever. And I didn't think it was going to happen at this Olympics. So I have to up my game now and win a few more colors, a few different medals. But I've got some other goals, like World Championships next year is a really big one. Also, if you win, there's like the Crystal Globe is the overall World Cup. That's like a huge goal as well. That would be a dream of mine, because that just means that you've consistently outperformed everyone like through the whole season. So that's a definitely a big one.
Your goal for sure.
Trophy sounds pretty.
Yeah.
First would be a World Cup podium and a World Cup win. I just got my first top 10s, so I'm getting there slowly. I've got a few years.
Yeah, you're early into the game.
Still young.
Yeah.
What's like the prime for a ski jumper? What like ages, or is it like a sport that I can't imagine you're able to do it like after like 35 or something?
Yeah, most ski jumpers are mid 20s. That's like young or early to mid 20s is usually what's on the World Cup. There's like a few girls that show up really young and end up doing really well, but usually they kind of go up and then go down and then end up coming up more consistently later. There's a few older ones, like Mackenzie is old. I think he's like 30 or something, but there was a Japanese jumper named Noriaki Kasai that jumped. I think he is still jumping, and he's like 50. So he's a legend. He's a legend.
Tom Brady.
Sure, but
Yeah.
the regular is like early to mid 20s.
So you got some big years coming up then.
Yeah, definitely one more Olympics. Shooting for 2026 for sure. Maybe 2030 if they end up being in Whistler, which I think Whistler's putting in a bid. I would stick around for that. I think I'd have to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those hills back.
Yeah.
So you're living in Europe now. Like, what was the transition like? Just like day-to-day life from growing up in Canada? Like, is it ever just like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Tim Hortons today? Like, get me out of here.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. Like, I just want a 10-pack of Timbits every other day. I think of them. No. But we had like adapted pretty quick. It was definitely different, or it was a bit tough at the start. Like when we moved here in June, it was tough getting used to like the roads and like finding our way around. Like everything here is done a little bit differently than in Canada, obviously. But I think we found our own little fun things to do here, and it kind of took over, the missing home, the stuff that we're used to in Canada. But I'm always excited to go home. There's stuff that, I'll never get tired of. So
Yeah.
April.
Home is home.
Yeah, home is home. But we made a home here.
Yeah.
This is home now. Like I find myself saying, "Oh yeah, we're going home," when we're coming back to Slovenia.
Yeah.
My parents even say that now too.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, are you at home right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Is it like a big group there that you train with, or is it like a team?
So there's 4 of us girls on the national team, and 3 of us live together. One of the girls, Allie, the one that won the medal, she lives like in a different town, but it's not too far away. We all train together. We also live in the neighboring town to the US and Canadian boys. Like our Canadian boys train on the US team just because they didn't really have anywhere to go. So they live nearby, and we end up crossing over training with them quite a bit. Like we play volleyball with them all the time when we train in the gym together, and we hang out a lot, especially in the summer when we've got those long stretches between competitions. We end up hanging out, having fun. So
Yeah,
we're good guys.
I know you got to go to another call here, so I'll hit you with one more question because I'm actually pretty interested in this one.
Mhm.
The summer jumps, I just can't understand them at all. I was watching videos of you hitting them, like they're landing on like it looks like grass.
Yeah,
What is the green on there?
that is one of the biggest questions I get as a ski jumper. The first one is, how did you get started in that? And then the next one is, how do you ski jump in the summer? Like that's a thing. So the tracks that we go down are ceramic, and they run water down them. You use the same equipment, same skis, everything like that. And then the landing hill, they're kind of like these plastic noodle looking things that they lay over like this. So they overlay, and then they water it with a sprinkler. I think in one of my vlogs, I actually like explain summer jumping. Maybe I'll send that one to you, but yeah, and then they water it, and it actually ends up feeling like just like snow. We train the same way that we do. And one of the good things about summer actually is you never have to deal with snow conditions. Like you never like, oh, the landing hill is icy. Oh, it's slushy. Oh, it's always the same. The plastic grass stuff is never gonna change on you. So
You know who you're dealing with.
Do you get to do that?
Yes, exactly.
Shirt and shorts then, or is there like different safety equipment for when you're not in like the snowsuit?
No, we actually train in the same suit. So as you can imagine, it's really hot in the summer. We unzip them as soon as we land. You see jumpers like unzip, take it off, like try to get some air in there, but some days it can get, I mean, it's like you're wearing a snowsuit in 30-degree weather for the 10 seconds that you're going off a ski jump. So it's not too fun, but you need, like, the suit is so helpful for flying, the permeability and stuff. You couldn't ski jump the same without one. And also, obviously, if you crash, you're gonna need something to break the fall a little bit. So same equipment. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's good for me. Yeah.
That's unreal.
Thanks for
Thank
taking
you so
time out
much.
of your day
Yeah.
to give us a chat.
Yeah, of course. Of course. This was super chill. Like, really nice to talk to you guys. Sometimes I'm like, I never know what to expect when I'm going into a podcast or like an interview or something. I'm like, oh, I hope this person is nice. I hope they're engaging. You guys did great. So it was super fun.
Pretty
You did
laid
good
back over
yourself.
here. Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well, now we're fans of ski jumping,
Yeah,
so we'll be
100%.
following along.
We'll follow the
You,
World
you,
Cup.
you got us hooked.
Yeah, awesome. If I made at least 2 new Canadian ski jumping fans, I think that's a win. So
Certified.
yeah, cool.
Good luck in your season here, and hopefully we'll get you on after you get the first individual medal next Olympics.
Yeah. Yep. Give me 4 years. I'll do it.
All right.
Sounds
Well,
good.
thanks so much, guys. It was nice talking to you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
too.
We'll see you
Yeah.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.